Hey, you caught me looking around. My name is Gene Symes, and here it is, New York. And hey, we got some sun. We got a little clouds, but we're better off than some parts of the states. And I feel very bad for Louisiana and what's going on there, and the rest of the states are going to suffer from it. Uh, God's willing that everybody's going to be safe. I really don't wish anything bad on the issues that our climate sometimes has a direction it goes on its own. It's just like politics. Our politics sometimes just wanders off and it goes on its own. And the true meaning is that we're here today to talk about what's going to affect us, my family, your family, and the world itself and the generations to come. You know, Ronald Reagan said it quite well. He says, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. That's a lot of words. And he quoted that. That is a lot of words, strong words. Does the left and the right really understand what those words meant? Well, I hope they do, because right now we're facing a lot of problems. We're facing problems with our politics that is sort of wavering to be one-sided. And not just because I am a Republican. I do care about both sides. I voted Democrat several times in my lifetime. But I come to find out now that in some ways it's changed so much that I have to be bipartisan. I have to understand what the Republican Party really stands for us. And right now is being taken down by the left. And that's not all Democrats that are doing this, because there's a lot of good Democrats out there that are facing this, and they would like to make it right. They don't want to see all this crapping around with each other, debates that are just hurting, and one side saying that we're going to do this and we're going to do that. You know, we're trying to run a country. But when you relate communism and socialism to capitalism and try to destroy capitalism, you're destroying what we all fought for. Myself, I fought in Vietnam. I was there almost 3 times. Okay. When I say almost, because there was one tour that I didn't have to complete because I was called out because I was sole surviving son. But I fought for those things against communism and socialism. You know, Vietnam still has their parties in there, and communism is still running pretty heavy, but not as bad as it was before. Vietnam looks like New York City in a way. But you know, it's not about Vietnam today. It's about Nancy Pelosi and the 25th Amendment. Figuring a way to try to take our president down. Our president means a whole lot to this country, whether you like it or not. Whether you like the way he looks, the way he talks, or the way he gestures himself. He came into this politics with one thing: to clean the swamps, to clean up what Washington has there. Whether he's got a little bit of background that people don't like, I'm sorry about that. But what the Democratic Party fears the most is what he's doing. And that's exactly what he intended to do, to clean the swamps. Nancy Pelosi doesn't like it. Chuck Schumer doesn't like it. And other politicians around the nation doesn't like it. But you know, the Democratic politicians that are with Nancy Pelosi, in a big way, as Simon and I discussed this, and he'll be on shortly here, and he'll identify himself, is that they fear repercussion from Nancy Pelosi. If they say something, then she's going to be on their backs. She really has nothing to fight with. She tried the rush, and she tried the dossier. She tried the phone call that President Trump had. She's tried everything. And with the team that she has, they have lost respect from a lot of people. The only people that respect them is the revolutionists. I got to say it like that. Because if you can create fire, you've got some people on your side, whether you're good or bad. They're going to infiltrate in between, and that's what's happened. You know, the politician in Michigan, the governor up there, that God did good for her. She wasn't kidnapped or destroyed her family's home or anything like that. But she did say something. She says the problem with this president is when he says something, he provokes people. Governor, I'm glad you're still alive. I'm glad that the blessings of God had the promise to all to care for you and protect you by having the FBI do exactly what this administration set out to do, to protect the people. But what you said is wrong, because when we look at Maxine Waters, we look at Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Cory Booker, all these individuals in the beginning, how they started against President Trump to incite people to hate, to incite people to destroy the areas that they're in, to go into restaurants, to break doors down to these individuals that are in the press and delivers the news each and every day because they don't like them. Who's provoking who, lady? So get your head in the right place. Thank God that you're alive and not kidnapped. But don't be blaming President Trump for what you started because you don't like, or your people started because you don't like what he was saying. President Trump is a president that I elected. I gave him my vote, as well as millions. And he'll continue to be president. The 25th Amendment is not good enough. Okay? It's not good enough to throw at a man that's doing the job. What is good enough is to thank him. Pelosi, the 25th Amendment should be on you and Chuck Schumer and all your other comrades there in Congress. Maxine Waters, the complete bunch. Omar, she hates people. Believe me, she's no angel. Cortez, she just wants her way. And you got a good team there, Nancy Pelosi. You got the best fighting team that's making you look exactly who you are. Nothing. And you're destroying the country trying to prove that you got the power. Why don't you just work together with the president and forget to try and stack the courts? You know, Joe Biden, answer the word. Are you going to stack the Supreme Court? Are you? You can't answer that because you're afraid. You're afraid that you're going to lose, and you're afraid that all this commotion is going to be on you, and it's absolutely right. Simon, I'm going to give back to you.
Hey, Gene. Well, you know, I think the Democrats in general, okay, there's only a handful of bad apples, okay, and those bad apples seem to think they control all the other Democrats. In my thinking, the other Democrats, okay, that don't speak out, and there's many of them, okay. The reason I think is that they don't speak up is because if they do, then they'll be chastised for going against Pelosi and the other members of the radical team. Okay, so they stay quiet. They stay quiet, but sometimes, like you're saying, you have the good Democrats that'll go out there when it comes to the to a vote. You know, sometimes they'll do the right thing. Okay, but like you're saying about this country. And I think you mentioned, of course, Vietnam. You and I served in Vietnam just like you did, and it's interesting because John F. Kennedy was a Democrat, a Democrat that opposed communism, and that was the reason that we got involved in Vietnam, because we didn't want the communists. Okay, we didn't want to fight communism in our country, so they sent us to sort of fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? And now you look at today. The communism, socialism is something that the Democrats are promoting. You know, we're talking about 50 plus years. They went from a capitalistic society with John F. Kennedy, and now we go into all these radicals, you know, that want to turn this country into a socialist society, you know. And the young people, I think in the last maybe 2 or 3 generations, the young people were, they were denied, history. The history of what happened in World War I, World II, Korea. So they have no concept of what it means for for people, a few that went out there and stood the ground for this country. And nowadays, you don't have that anymore. So you have young kids saying, well, it was your luck and tough luck or whatever. They no longer respect veterans. They no longer respect the flag. They've taken away the religion from schools. They've taken away the Pledge of Allegiance. So they've taken a lot of stuff out of the school room, okay, out of the classroom. So what does that mean? That means that our next generation, okay, will have nothing to fall on. They'll have no sense of what it is to be an American. They have no sense of what it is to give your life for somebody else. So, but this is the new generation we have. I have grandkids, that are in the same way, they think that everything is given to them, okay? And it's not. I mean, everything that they have was because what you and I and many like us that fought for this country, I was outraged when they try to connect uh, Trump to Russia, and although the one behind Russia was Hillary, and all these other countries, okay. So, but they couldn't pin that on him, so they've gone from one accusation to another, and now they're trying to use, like you're saying, they're trying to use the 25th Amendment. But my thing is this: the doctor has cleared the president of any he's not going to die, okay, and he's not sick. And I think the point that Trump was trying to make was that I mean, people shouldn't be worried about the virus, okay? Because if you look at mortality rate, okay, now this comes from the top people in the health field, scientists, is that 95% of people over the age of 65, 70, okay, will experience little or very little to no symptoms whatsoever. And I think Trump proved that. And I think if you look at, I don't know how all these people got infected, but to me, all it points to is that all these people, okay, were infected somehow. But you know what? They were all operational. Nobody has died. Okay, and I think that's the point that Trump was trying to point out. Now, and then the other thing, the other point is that, so if you're looking at 70%, 95% over 70, and the people under 70 have a less risk than the people over 70. So I think more people have died or are dying from the flu than they are from the virus. Okay. Now, I just read somewhere that those VSOs, those veterans organization, they're trying to change the law to where if a veteran dies from the COVID-19, they're going to consider it as I guess, a service connection of some sort. So the spouse, widow, can be granted benefits. So every time you turn around, they're changing to something different. Okay. But every time they do something different, we get denied. Okay. And I think you and I talked about this before, about the appointments that the VA is making. Okay. And, they send you letters and text messages. But when you go to the appointment, they say, well, I'm sorry, we don't have you scheduled. But in the meantime, for me, I spent about 5 hours in total on the road altogether. It was over about 250 miles coming and going. Okay. And they came out of my pocket. And all because someone didn't do their job. So I'm waiting for a call to see how they're going to fix that. But in the meantime, I have an appointment for the 14th, an appointment that may or may not happen. And I think you can probably expand on that a little bit on your end too, Gene.
Yeah, I can. Those things is what aggravates the heck out of veterans, and we've been there, you and I, trying to help veterans. Now, when it comes to us, we got to try and see what we can do for ourselves when we're put in that position. But the worst of a matter is that people believing in lies, as you put them, an illusion of truth. The more they believe it, the more they hear it, the more they hear it, they believe it. And that's what they're doing with President Trump, because the left knows exactly what they're doing. And they know how to hit people that are vulnerable, you know. And I'm not talking about the millions and millions of Democrats that are out there that are individuals undecided and moderate and so on. I'm talking about the hardcore individuals that we have in Washington that delivers their message to their people because they have grasped them in one way to favor their thoughts. You know, Juan Williams on Fox really burns me up sometimes. I think he's a good individual, reporter and all that, as well as all the other ones. But when it came to the part where the debate was going to come up between Vice President Pence and Kamala Harris, or Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris. The first thing he says, I hope he's going to be gentle, or I think he said gentle with her. And he mentioned the word black. Black didn't have any matter to be about this debate. What it matters is about two people facing each other and discussing an issue and debating their thoughts. Am I wrong on that, Simon?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And you know, the issues that were presented, okay, I mean, if you're in a fight, okay, I would like for to be equal, you know, everybody having the same opportunity to do the same thing. But in this debate, I saw that debater, I mean the woman, what was her name, the moderator. I mean, she was cutting off. She was cutting off Pence at points when he was trying to make a point. She cut him off. Okay, and you know, so it was to me it was all one-sided. Okay, and you know, the thing about the Gene is that when it comes to Democrat, they'll never admit to a loss. 2016, and they're still denying the loss. Okay, and they'll deny what I call the silent minority. Okay, the silent minority of voters. Okay, that they don't tell you who they're going to vote for, because again, for the same thing, they fear that someone's going to hear that they're voting for Trump or whatever. Okay, and they're going to get retaliated. Okay, so this silent minority, okay, in 2016 went out and voted for Trump. Okay, and they scrapped all the polls, all that Miller was going to win by a landslide and so on and so forth. But in the end, the American people chose who they wanted for president, and Hillary still hasn't accepted defeat. She blames the Russians. Okay, although the Russians had nothing to do with it. Okay, well, she was the one that the DNC was the one that hired all these cohorts, okay, to do all the to make all these what was false reporting, okay. Now, and also now it seems like they're at it again. They're saying that the Russians. I mean, I read it on Facebook. You know, the Russians, that Trump is connected to the Russians, and but yet they don't connect Biden to all the Chinese corruption, all the money that Hunter got, you know, and all the other businesses ventures that they've done with China. Okay, and the Chinese want Biden, okay, to win, and so does Korea. Okay, and Russians they don't really care. You know what I'm saying? They're just sitting back and see what's going to happen after the dust settles. You know, but I mean, there is a last thing. Gene, there is a last
I want to capture on what you said about the debate. Yeah, they didn't give Vice President Pence time to finish his sentence or his thoughts. I think that between Chris Wallace and this other lady that was on there, I don't want to be grasping and ragging on Wallace or this lady, but yeah, they seem to go one side and you could feel it coming. I think that if you and I are having a discussion, debate, and I have 2 minutes, but I haven't finished, give me that time to finish and look at your paperwork and say how many minutes or seconds it took to finish that, then add it up to the time that when it comes time for an open discussion for both, that they can eliminate some of that time. But let the individual finish his thoughts, because the public is not getting the news. You know, my family are Democrats, you know. Do I have a problem with them? Of course I do. Do I love them? Of course I do. Do I detest the way sometimes my wife thinks about the Democrats and the party itself and trying to cross a point? Of course I do, but I still love her. Do I detest my daughter that does not like Trump because inside she says he's bad? But you know what? She loved that check that she got,
Yep.
the virus, that stimulus package. They loved it. They loved the unemployment check. They all love that. If you love it so much, then think about what this man is trying to do and not trying to destroy you. He didn't create this, you know. If he had that much power to do that, hey, he'd be a fearful man all over. He'd be Genghis Khan, 1, 2, 3. But no, we got Pelosi, Schumer, Maxine Waters, Cory Booker yelling out, "The British are coming, the British are coming." Instead of saying the Russians are coming. And everybody believe in this. Our kids in school are being destroyed in their thought about history. All these statues only represent something that we can fall upon and say, you know, look at the changes we made. But they have to destroy it.
But Gene, you make a good point. During World War II, right? What did Hitler do to all the books, all the history?
Broke them up.
They burned them.
Yeah.
They burned everything, right? So all these Al Qaeda and all these radical people, terrorists, you know, what did they do? They went out there and they destroyed all this history.
Simon,
and what are we doing?
One thought, real quick. You gave me that thought and you proved it last night. They exactly when China heard the dispute that was going to come between Harris and Biden, or excuse me, and Vice President Pence, they cut that off so their people couldn't hear it. You was right. Thank you.
They blanked it off. They blanked it off. And then as soon as he was done, they brought it back on again. So to me, very simple. If people don't get that, okay, they must be blind. Okay. But the thing is that, and it's not a secret, you know, that China has been pumping in millions and probably billions of dollars in trying to support Biden. Okay. And Korea is the same way too. Okay, the only one is the one in the cold are the Russians, because they can't compete. They don't want to compete, because when you have two people, okay, fighting each other and trying to get one person elected, the third guy sits back and see who's the last man standing. You know, but look at the history. I mean, look at history repeats itself through Hitler, through the Al Qaeda, whoever destroyed all this history down up in the Middle East. Okay, and look at us now. We've toppled monuments. You know, we've trying to destroy history. No different than what happened, years and years ago. So does that give us a picture of what tomorrow might be under the Biden administration? Well, of course, nothing but chaos and havoc, you know. And I'll make one more point, and I'll bring it back to you. One of the arguments that the Democrats, even the media, okay, the media is just as bad as they are. They are the propulsion that pushing the Democrats, you know, trying to make them win, okay. But if you look at this point, they're saying that, oh, that Trump is for the rich, you know, and you know who's the one perpetuating the money for the rich? The government. You know why? Because all this money that is being given out to businesses, okay, to people, okay, all that is federal money. So you get this money, right? Well, what are they going to do with it? They're going to pay their employees if, you know, they came back to work again, maybe. Or if they send you a check, you're going to go out there and you need repairs, you need food. So where are they going to go? They're going to go to Walmart. They're going to go to all these essential businesses, you call it. Okay. So that money that the money is given out, all is going to all these rich people. Okay, there are no jobs. Okay, so who's going to pay that money back? How is the country going? The country needs to collect taxes in order to be survivable. If people don't have jobs, you cannot contribute into the economy. Well, someone told me, yeah, but when you go to the store, you pay taxes. But those are state taxes. You know what I'm saying? And those state taxes eventually wind up doing the same vicious cycle. So if you don't have money generation, income generation, and you printed money, okay, uh, you don't have nothing. Nothing's changed, and this is what but the Biden administration wants to do. And as far as like you're saying, like on a point that when Pence asked Harris, is that are you gonna take if you're gonna take the vaccine shot? Oh, I'll take. The scientist says to take it, I'll take it. But if Trump says it, I'm not gonna do it. So what do you call that? Instead of saying, look, instead of saying I don't care who puts it out, I'm gonna do the right thing for the country, okay? Because they are the example. Okay, if they don't take it, well, Trump says don't take it. So, I mean, if Trump says you got to take it, okay, or say, well, a lot of people are not going to take it. Okay, now it's already been mentioned, that a large number of people, regardless of who or what, they're not going to take it.
Yeah.
So all the money that was pumped into trying to fix a problem, okay, all is being done is nothing but a waste of money and time. They made a vaccine for the Ebola. You know that? And you know how many people took it?
How many?
You take it?
I took it.
You took the Ebola virus? The
Huh?
shot? Vaccine? You took it?
The vaccine for the virus?
For the Ebola.
Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry.
I don't know of anybody
I didn't
that
hear you.
did.
I apologize.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody that did. Okay. Now, I mean, even now we're in debate on whether kids should take the other shot, the measles and smallpox, whatever. A lot of people still don't want to take it because they're afraid of the possibility of issues, medical issues. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not Trump telling them.
And then when in under Obama's administration, under the vaccine trials only went toward the second phase. They didn't went to a third. Okay.
Yeah.
And the vaccine was only 90% effective. Well, I don't know of anybody that took it. But here we have a virus, okay, that is supposed to be the deadliest thing that ever has come around, although the numbers don't really support it, okay? And because we don't know who's dying from what.
Yeah, because the complications between a heart attack or having hepatitis or something that is conflicting with the body metabolism could be generating the opposite effect to where anything is going good. The virus in this just close the body down.
Well, yeah, and again, remember, if you're looking at how dangerous or how fatal it is, okay, well, look at the numbers. If you combine the people in general, okay, if you have 95% over 70 and you have a larger number, okay, under the age of 70, I mean, you're still at what, 96, 97% that if you get the virus, you're going to have little or no symptoms.
Yeah.
And I think that what happened to the White House with the infections, okay, we don't know where that came from. But the thing is that these people, just because they got infected, they don't intend to die.
Well, Simon, it's funny because we're running out of time here a little bit. It's funny when you said that the virus, the White House, we don't know how or what caused the president to contract this or anybody that in his administration or in the Capitol itself. And I do hope that God heals them all. And no matter who it is, but when you said something about the stimulus package and people getting money and the federal government issuing out the monies to take care of areas that it has to be rebuilt, infrastructure and all that, I'm laughing about that. And I'm not laughing in a funny way. I'm laughing in a very sarcastic way because all these cities that had governors had these problems. The president says, we'll help you. Just tell us that we can come in there and help you. They said no. And the looters and all this just destroyed areas. People got hurt left and right. But others say, oh, it was only a peaceful a protest. Yeah, there was a little bit of problem. A little bit of problem. Now these states want this money from the government to help repair their areas where they live in the states. And you know, the other funny part about it is that they don't even blink an eye and think anything of it. Now they think they deserve more. I think what the president is doing with the stimulus package is create what is needed for the time being, and let's get things rolling with these people that need money to feed their families and get them back on the road to get some jobs and so on. But to give Como or any other state money to repair something that they were actually part of the destruction and not accepting the help, I say no. And for the issue of people thinking that a force to try and stop looters and stop people from getting hurt or just entire destruction of a town or a city itself, they're wrong. Whatever it takes, you know, whatever it takes. It took us, you and I in Vietnam, and all the other men and women that served in Vietnam, a whole lot to try and stop these the North Vietnamese from totally destroying the southern part of Vietnam. And people can't understand that. We didn't go there for nothing. And we're not going to take what's going on here for nothing. This is the president of the United States, and we're going to back him up.
You know, 100% behind that as well. But then again, I mean, I think if you look at the evil forces, okay, that we have, now we have an evil force, okay, being perpetuated, being moved by the media. The media, if you say today is blue, they're gonna say, well, it's not blue, it's light blue. And if they tell a lie long enough, like based on, you know, what you talked about, the illusion of truth was created by the Nazis during World War II, by one of the psychologists out there. That if you tell, and this is something I studied as well in college, you know, that if you tell a lie long enough, at some point, people are going to take it for as truth. That's a fact.
That's a fact, and you've always said that. When they say, I keep that thought. When Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and all these other people said that, oh, President Trump is getting along with Russia, President Trump is getting along with the man in charge of North Korea, you know, you know what? We're not fighting. He's not giving in. President Trump is not going to give in and have our world destroyed, our country destroyed. What he's trying to cause right now is a peace treaty. Treat him.
Yeah, and that's the diplomacy.
That's diplomacy.
Look.
That's just like you and I are talking. Instead of discussing this and getting pissed, we're trying to discuss something. Let's get around the round table and let's all discuss this. But don't blame Russia or North Korea and President Trump for what's happening here. Because right now, they're talking. While you're talking, it's good. Look at China. But look at how China directly shut off their people from listening to what was going on in that debate. Simon, take the next couple of minutes and we're going to be closing.
All right, Gene. Again, so I mean, like you know, and many, I know a lot of people that I know of, you know, they know who they're going to vote for, and the people that you know, the people that want to vote the other way. I mean, these people are Christians, you know. How can you be a Christian and still be pro-choice? So, well, I think it's a woman's right. Yeah, it's a woman's right. Okay, but once she had the child, okay, and she gets pregnant, now it's no longer about a choice. Okay, because there is a human being that she's carrying, and no one has the right to kill any baby before or even after birth. And this is what the Democrats or the liberals are perpetuating. And they got again, the Catholic churches that they support Biden. How can you support something that's contradictory to the word of God, to scriptures?
Mhm.
But they make excuses. Well, it's a woman's choice. Yeah, it's a choice, but I mean, if I have a gun, I kill somebody. Okay, I have to be responsible for my actions, right? It's my gun.
Mhm.
Okay, if a woman gets pregnant, okay, if she didn't, like, they want gun owners to, protect their guns, right? Lock them or whatever. Well, in my thinking, okay, this is only my thinking, my opinion, and I think a lot of women, they take precautions not to get pregnant. Okay, but do you have women out there, and you probably saw them on the media, was saying, well, I had 4 abortions and I'm going to go out there and get another one just so I can get an abortion. Abortions on demand, Gene, is bad business. It goes
Well,
against Christian values.
you got a point there. I agree with the thought. I also agree that if it's inflicting damage to a body, somebody is causing a death because of it, there has to be a choice to do that. But that's only in areas that is an emergency. But at right now, we want to say between Simon and I think I'm well in behalf of talking for Simon too, as he is for me, that this election is depends on all of us. And if individuals out there aren't strong enough to see what's written on the wall, we are going to have a major problem. You are going to lose a lot, a lot. This is no fiction, people. This is not a fiction story. This is the truth. Those that are willing to back up something that is wrong, their minds are generated to be like that. Somewhere along the line, they'll agree with the devil just because, just because. But from my end and our veterans, and I hope that I'm speaking for a lot of veterans, I hope that President Trump gets reelected and Vice President Pence with him and the families and those that are running for office. Please be aware of what's going on with the mailing. If you vote, physically vote. However it goes, it goes. However I see it or whoever gets it, I have to accept it. I was told by my brother-in-law, will I accept it? I have to. Hillary hasn't accepted it yet. But as an individual that believes that we have the right to speak to each other and debate, I hope that it's the president who's standing now that we'll be having for another 4 years. God bless America. And remember, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. God bless America. Thank you, Simon, so much for coming aboard. And please, if you need anything, you've got a number, 315-986-7322. That's my office number. You can call. If you want to email me, go to gdsusa@rochester.rr.com. That's gdsusa@rochester.com. God bless you and take care. Let's go out and vote.